If you have ever felt like ceramic coating your car is too big of a task, then I am glad you stumbled on this video, because today we're going to clear up that common misconception as well as give you some pro tips that will make the application process even simpler than even waxing your car. As you can see behind me, this is not your average car. This is the McLaren 720S, pushing 710 horsepower out of its 4-liter twin-turbo V8. And we actually hand-picked this particular car for a reason. Not only is it the exact same process on a nearly $500,000 hypercar as it is for a Honda Civic, but it is also the exact same product. Today, we're gonna be using Cerakote's professional ceramic paint coating, which comes in a 2-pack of these 30 ml frosted glass bottles. This kit will be more than enough for your car, your side-by-side, or your boat, but bigger trucks or RVs might need another bottle. Most importantly, we wanna show that if you can trust Cerakote ceramics to protect this, then you can absolutely trust it to protect just about anything. Time and time again, we see that people make ceramic coatings way too complicated. At the end of the day, you only really have 3 main steps: to clean, to correct, and to apply. Honestly, correcting the paint is not even always necessary, but a little more on that later. By far, the most important step is the cleaning, because we rely heavily on the surface preparation in order to create that bond, which is crucial to the longevity and the performance of the coating. And of course, that cleaning starts with some soap, some water, and some good old-fashioned elbow grease. Find yourself a high-quality car wash soap, kind of like our, I don't think we can tell you about that yet, but more on that to come. We definitely prefer to use the 2-bucket cleaning method. The reason for this is to rinse away any contaminants in the mitt that could potentially scratch the surface, as well as keeping your soap bucket fresh and clean. It's also important to start from the top and work your way down, just to make sure the grime that you're washing away doesn't pass over a freshly cleaned surface. Using long strokes going with the contours of the car rather than in circling motion will not only cut time on the wash, but it will also prevent any swirling that might need to be corrected in the future. Make sure to dry the car immediately afterwards to prevent any water spotting with either a thick absorbing towel or, my personal favorite, an electric leaf blower. After the car is clean, the next step is to Claybar the car. The Claybar is a super effective tool at removing contaminants that are embedded into your car's paint. Those contaminants can vary from brake dust, not only from your car, but also all the cars that you're sharing the road with, as well as tree sap, road tar, and even industrial fallout, which really is just a fancy term for all the microscopic metal fragments floating through the air that comes from railways, train stations, manufacturing facilities, and shipyards. And while you're Claybarring the car, you'll need to lubricate the paint just to make sure that the bar smoothly glides over the surface. Many companies actually make a Claybar lubricant, but pro tip, put a couple drops of soap inside of a bottle and you'll be good to go. Now, this definitely can be a time-consuming process, but honestly, there's not much room for error with it. And now that we are washed, rinsed, and Claybarred, next comes the paint correction. Paint correction is definitely the most tedious process, but it's still absolutely doable by the average DIYer. What paint correction does is it removes all the tiny little swirls and scratches in your paint, as well as removes any oxidation that may have formed and restores your paint's original gloss and shine. Now, this should definitely be taken on a case-by-case basis though. If this is your dream car and you need it to be absolutely flawless, then of course you're gonna wanna remove all the imperfections. However, if your car is fresh off the lot, paint correction may or may not be necessary. Like I said, this is a case-by-case thing and it's up for you to decide. In the case of our McLaren here, the owner takes immaculate care of this car. And honestly, we came to the determination that paint correction is not needed. Now that this car is 100% dry, it's time to apply the Cerakote ceramic coating. The way I like to begin is by finding a body panel that will serve as the starting point to work around the car from. Now, I'm not sure who named this, but this here is called the Twinkie. It's a high-quality microfiber applicator that works perfect with our coating. You're gonna wanna put the coating directly onto the applicator, and the first application is gonna take a little bit more product to get it fully saturated. You'll know you have enough product when the applicator easily glides across the panel without any surface tension. What we're aiming for is a nice even coverage with about 50% overlap in between passes, and then go back over it again, making a perpendicular pass to ensure even coverage due to the crosshatch pattern. And now if you start to feel any surface tension at all, that means it's time to apply a little bit more Cerakote to the Twinkie and then keep on coating. Now, once you have your 3x3 section coated, you're gonna have to pay close attention to this visual cue. If you notice here, the coating is starting to sweat and bead up. That means that it's now time to start buffing the surface, and we like to use the 2-towel method for that. The first towel is good for removing any excess beading, and the second towel is to buff it the rest of the way off. You'll know it worked because the surface will become extremely slick and glossy as you're wiping. Of course, it will take a little bit longer in colder climates, sometimes up to 5 minutes or so, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, it can be less than 2 minutes if you're in a hot and humid climate down south. So knowing that visual cue right there is crucial to know exactly when the coating is ready. Now that this car has been fully coated, Let's do some testing to see how well Cerakote's Pro Ceramic Paint Coating really performs. Let's get the lights. Now what we're looking for is the water behavior and how the water beads up and rolls off the paint. Look at how the water forms tight, well-defined droplets that slide right off the surface. That is a clear visual indicator of the coating's high hydrophobic properties, or in other words, how well it repels water and contaminants effectively. Not only will this make future cleaning easier by allowing the water to carry away dirt and grime, but it will also provide extreme gloss and shine wash after wash. You won't believe the difference when you drive in the rain for the first time. None of the dirty road mist will stick to your vehicle, and drying is an absolute breeze. This stuff is so good you can even dry your car with water. Check this out. Now, once you're all done, I would wait at least 2 hours if you're above 65 degrees before you go out on a drive and expose it to the elements, or delivering the vehicle back to the customer if this is a professional job. After 24 hours, it'll be fully cured and you'll be safe to start hand washing it again. And regarding any future maintenance, it's not really needed, but we do highly recommend our Rapid Ceramic Paint Sealant to keep adding layers and layers of protection that will far outlast the competition. We appreciate you guys watching, and we can't wait to see you on the next one. Products will be linked down below.